On the week of September 5th, 2011, the small town of Duryea, Pennsylvania was ravaged with floodwaters when the Lackawanna River took on a major amount of water and burst the levee. Authorities were quick to act with evacuations when the rain began, but the devastation upon returning was something nobody would ever forget. One of the first buildings to take on massive amounts of water and a huge amount of damage was the small school community of Holy Rosary School and Church, with levels in the building up to 6.5 to 7 feet of water and thousands of gallons of groundwater. Raising the amount, preparing for the flood was useless.
My first thought when I saw the school was that I was pleasantly surprised because it wasn't on the first floor. So it was actually, and I kept saying to Jerry, "Oh, this is much better than I thought. This is much better than I thought." And he said, "Well, you're not going to think that when you look downstairs." The first view I had, because you couldn't walk downstairs, there was still 6 feet of water, was the water that had come up above the first landing in the basement and up on 3 or 4 steps. So that was very sad. Sad is probably the best word to describe it.
I was really shocked with everything. It's amazing how everything can get that tall in the cafeteria and especially the music room, which just got done.
I've been here 27 years. This has been devastating to our community. Having the flood, it's a part of home that we don't have right now. There's a lot of things we just got done remodeling the downstairs with the preschool and the library and the music room, and it's just absolutely devastating what happened to our home, which is our school.
There's like, how could this happen?
Just couldn't believe the damage, in the basement, how everything was destroyed. It's upsetting.
Terrible, absolutely terrible. I couldn't even believe it. It was absolutely horrendous. I couldn't even believe it. It was so shocking that something like as beautiful as Holy Rosary could end up like that with all of its damages.
When I saw the pictures of the school, I just started crying. It hurt. Wondering what we were going to do, where we were going to go, when we were going to see the kids, how we were going to teach them, who would take us in, and it was bad.
You never ever believe in your lifetime that you're going to be the recipient of people's goodwill. It really impacted me the one day I was standing in front of the school and all our volunteer fire departments were there and some of the neighbors were there, and a Goodwill truck, the Red Cross truck came up and they rang their bell and they said, "We're here to deliver the meals." And I looked at the woman who had a southern accent and I said to her, "Oh, but we don't need the meals, we're okay." And just ever so gently she said to me, "Ma'am, if this is your school, you're a flood victim." And then it dawned on me. We are a flood victim. Never in my lifetime did I think I would be the recipient of that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The Red Cross, the high schools, when they came unconditionally, just listened and didn't fool around. They just took it and they had a purpose. The volunteer fire departments, I can never ever repay them for what they did for us. They took it on as their mission.
It's very easy for all of us to be the givers, to be the one to help somebody out. It's very difficult to be in the position where you have to rely on somebody else or you have to graciously accept things from someone else.
This huge flood in a small town brought in a lot of help from all around, with the senator, congressman, state representative, and the vice president all visiting the flooded area in a matter of 3 days. The help from over 20 fire departments got a lot of people back on their feet, including the one that stayed at Holy Rosary for over 100 hours until the water levels were down and under control.
It makes me feel a lot better that everybody's trying to help us get through this.
To see that everyone wants to help, because sometimes that just doesn't happen, but something like this really is influential, so it's nice.
It's amazing how our little community has come together, and all of the schools in the area have helped us.
I think it's very generous that they're doing that for us because we went through a lot with the flood and everything.
It's been an overwhelming response.
I am positive the school would be unusable if it wasn't for the volunteer firefighters. I very rarely in the past 3 weeks have gotten emotional and cried, but every time I think of what they did and how long they stayed, and the fact that their work saved the school, I do get very emotional about that.
They made it their mission, and they kept saying to us, we're not leaving until our mission is done. We never leave a mission until it's over. This is our job. We'll get it done. We'll stick with you through the end. 72 hours. Some of these men and women slept 6 hours out of 72 hours. They were there. They called their friends. They called other departments. And from everywhere, up and down the valley, we had people there. It was just incredible.
It's like bringing closer together, not just our little Holy Rosary Catholic school, but everywhere else, like Pittston area, Wyoming Valley West, Holy Redeemer, Holy Cross. It's bringing us together as one, like as God says, bringing us as one.
One of the things that I'll always remember also is one of our students whose home had about 4 or 5 feet of water on the first floor was at the school that day moving books. And just to see him there when he had his own tragedy to deal with is something I'll always remember.
I don't know how you can never pay them back or not say that you're grateful.
The damage was so severe that the administration of the school was forced to find a temporary building until the school was fixed. They have now moved to a temporary building which closed 7 years ago. This hurts a lot of members of the great school community, with 8th grade students who may have to spend their last year as a class at a different school. This is their only option while the electrical, heating, plumbing, floors, and many other major pieces of the school are replaced or repaired.
But I thought about it, and we should kind of make the best of our last year no matter what.
And it's a lot different here in St. Mary's at school instead of back at Holy Rosary. It took a little getting used to, but it'll be a little different going back then again.
When we first moved in here, the day we moved in, as a matter of fact, the teachers came to me and said, there's one thing that we don't have that we need. And I said, okay, well, whatever you need, we'll get it. And they said, we don't have chalk and erasers. Like a lot of them had never even used chalk and erasers because they had the whiteboards and then they had smart boards and they used the technology all of the time.
Well, I feel like we regret, like we went back 10 years in time that we're teaching, we have the chalkboards, but we don't have the technology that we were used to at our other school, the smart boards and the computers, and we miss it. But hopefully we'll be back soon.
It's different without having a smart board or having any cafeteria or any technology like that.
It was very important. I think a teacher probably used it maybe not every day, maybe even every class that they had. It's definitely a big loss, that's for sure. It meant a lot to them.
I do the science, I need the technology. We use the smart boards. I show them what's happening in science and the world around us.
And you would walk in there and you'd think, I can't believe this is our school. We're a small little school. We're in a little borough, but yet we are staying up. We are maintaining and getting better and better at our technology, which 5 years ago when we had our diocesan accreditation, that was one of our goals, to be the top in 10 years. And 10 years later, we were. And one night, it all changes. It just was gone. Our technology was gone. Our smart boards were gone. Things that we just, and I don't want to say take for granted, because we never took our technology. We were always so just excited to have it. So the excitement was gone. It was just taken from us.
The water line that shows how high the level really was is universal throughout the rooms, but it can also be seen that the water stopped rising at the foot of the crucifix on the wall, which actually saved the next floor from being damaged.
It's the feeling of that, it's almost like a home there.
And now, for the next few months, Holy Rosary will be in the process of tearing apart and rebuilding the first floor, replacing toys in the preschool, books in the library, stoves in the kitchen, and everything else in between. The students will wait anxiously to return to their home school, but this may not happen for months. Right now, students will continue to learn at the temporary school, not with excitement, but with anticipation to return to their proper building.